The most common way a hacker can steal your login credentials is through a phishing email, and this is what we've seen the most during the last couple of years. So the victim will open an email which they think is from Microsoft. They'll click on the link and it'll take them to a website which they think is a genuine Microsoft login page, but it's not. Instead it's a fake staging site which the hackers have set up to impersonate a Microsoft login page. When the victim enters their email address, password, and even the multi-factor authentication code, these details are then recorded in a token or what's called a session cookie, and the hacker can essentially replay those tokens on any device anywhere in the world and get access to your email and your data. And it's another reason why regular cybersecurity awareness training is really important today for businesses to train their staff to be more aware and spot potential phishing links that they'll get in their email. The more frequent that users are doing cyber awareness training, the better, because your mind is always primed to look out and spot potential cyber breaches in emails or websites that they might be accessing. And the example on the screen there with the login.microsoftonline.com, to the untrained eye, that will look genuine. It will look real. It will look like a normal Microsoft link. But to someone who's doing regular cyber awareness training, they'll probably spot the fact that there's two L's in online, or the one at the bottom, Microsoft login.microsoftonline.com is spelt wrong. You've got the CNS back to front. So that's why it's important to do it regular rather than just once a year. And cyber threats are always evolving, so the training has to keep pace with that. So the content will always reflect what's happening currently in the cyber world. Melissa mentioned at the start that people coming onto this webinar wanted to know what token theft is and what a session cookie is. Well, I came prepared with the slide you've got on screen. So no, it's not a tasty treat like the image on the screen. When you successfully authenticate with Microsoft, because we're using Microsoft 365 as the example, once you've inputted your email, your password and your multi-factor authentication code, Microsoft issues you a access token. And that token allows you to access all your data, all your email, OneDrive, SharePoint, etc. And that token is stored in a browser as a data cookie. Now, to use an analogy, we'll use the theme park analogy. If you were to go to a theme park and you went to a kiosk and you purchased some tickets to access the theme park, to access all the rides, you paid with your credit card. If you imagine just before going into that theme park, someone reached into your back pocket and took those tickets out. They cloned them, copied them, put them back into your pocket without you realizing. That person then has got access to all the rides just like you do. So you've paid for it, they haven't, but they've got access to all the same rides as you. It's the same with Microsoft 365. Once they've got your session token, they've got access to all your data, OneDrive, SharePoint, email, a lot. I'll just show you the sort of the process on screen. This is the process of how details are stolen through a phishing email. So you can see the user, they'll open an email from Microsoft, they'll click on the phishing link, The user will put their password into the phishing site. The phishing site will then forward that request to the actual Microsoft website. Microsoft then return the next screen in the authentication process, which is multi-factor authentication. That comes back through the phishing site to the user. The user then inputs their multi-factor authentication code, going back through the phishing site. The phishing site then forwards that to the actual website. And then once Microsoft sees that you've successfully authenticated, so you've provided your username, email, password, multi-factor authentication code, it then returns this access token or session cookie back to the user. And then the user logs on successfully, accesses their data, completely unaware that their details have been compromised. What I will do now is I'll show you a quick demo of what this looks like. I won't demonstrate the sophisticated tools that hackers use to extract or copy these access tokens, but I will show a manual way of getting that token and what I can do with it once I have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a browser. I'm going to go into this inspect section here. So I'm going to go to outlook.office365.com and we're going to log on as our test user, John Doe. Password, multi-factor authentication. Okay, so we've authenticated with Microsoft 365. Mark is asking, what's the inspect page you are using? So this is, so I mentioned I'll demonstrate a manual method of extracting the token. So this is just a feature that's built into Google Chrome, which lets you see under the hood, essentially. It just allows you to, developers, web designers probably tend to use this a bit more, but yeah, it's just a method of going under the hood to extract these details I'm about to show you. So now that we've authenticated, so this is what Microsoft will then issue to your device once you're authenticated, and this is the token that I was telling you about. So if I copy that token, so that's the John Doe test account. So we've authenticated. We've now got this session token. So what I'll do now is I'll jump onto a cloud machine that we've got, a virtual test machine we use. This has got a fresh install of Windows 11. If I now open a browser, go into that same screen that we were just in, go into application mode, go to the same website, and then if I just manually recreate that token, and just paste that in, which I've just copied, hit enter, and then if I just click on refresh, it's now logged me into John Doe's account. So no email address, no password, no multi-factor authentication code, just that session token, that cookie that we was able to steal, and once I've replayed it on another device, I'm straight in and I can access all John's emails, SharePoint, OneDrive, um, and that's how easy it is. How can businesses protect themselves, protect their data? There's a few things. Regular cyber awareness training, which I mentioned earlier. Um, this is not sending your staff on site somewhere for the day to do a training course. This is short, bite-sized, engaging content, usually about 10 minutes long, that's delivered to your staff's inbox or something they just log on to from their computer and they just watch it online. Um, but by training your staff on a regular basis, you're making them your first line of defence against cyber threats. Um, Another one is proactive management. There's a lot of tools that you can use to monitor your Microsoft 365 environment. Microsoft 365 generates a lot of noise. There's a lot of transactions coming in, going out, emails coming in, emails going out, data being accessed, opened, saved, etc. Um, and that just generates a lot of logs. Now, if you're not monitoring that, or looking at that on a regular basis, you're not going to spot any potential breaches. Impossible travel's another one. Um, Impossible travel is a term that's used to describe, in example, let's say you log onto your email at 3 o'clock in Manchester, and then 1 hour later your email's accessed from China or Russia. That's impossible travel. You're not going to be able to get from that location within 1 hour, so it automatically would flag up a cyber breach. But if you've not got any alarms to notify about that, then it's going to go unnoticed. Um, Conditional access policies. This is what comes with Microsoft 365, the premium subscription. Um, I liken this to the analogy of if you imagine you go into a nightclub with your friend, the nightclub has a very strict dress code before they allow you in. Your friend is dressed up smart, so he's allowed in at the door. He can go in and access the bar. You, on the other hand, you're dressed scruffy, you've got trainers on, then you're not going to be allowed in. You've not met their criteria. And that's what conditional access policies are. It's protecting the content in your environment by requiring certain criteria to be met. And they can be things like multi-factor authentication. Um, you've got to be using a device that's managed by your organization. If it's a personal BYOD, bring your own device, um, if you're accessing it from that, then that can be blocked. If it's from a geographical location like Russia or China, you might be blocking them locations. If you're trying to connect from that location, then you're not going to be allowed in. If you've not got multi-factor authentication enabled, you're not going to be allowed in. So these are policies that you can specify um, that have to be met before being allowed access to your data, and that can help things like impossible travel and token theft. So they're very powerful policies.